approximately 30,000 feet of hose that we have to test. There was nothing in the budget for the hose testing, and the hose testing is roughly the last quote that I got, which was about 2 months ago, was around $4,800 to do that, and they said that it was going to go up next year, so that's why I put the $5,000 in there to cover the hose testing part of it, and that's really required, should be done annually, and
Okay.
and this company would come out and
So
do it.
if I understand you right, then, in the past few years, then, we haven't really done all
We
the,
ha-
we
nope.
haven't done
Nope, the testing has not been done.
required testing.
The required testing has not been
Not been
done.
done, okay.
Yep.
And now we're trying to get back on track.
And that,
Properly-
right, now
properly.
now that we were there, I would like to get back on
Okay.
track, yes.
Understand. And the other one was fire uniforms. It's almost double what you want in the budget, and it says that uniform prices have increased. Have they actually doubled?
Well, pretty close.
Pretty close? Okay.
Pretty close. We roughly plan on, let's just say, it's around $970 a year per employee. That's what the clothing cost is, roughly per year. I would say it's probably another $500 to $600 if it's a brand new employee, because then we have to outfit with, like say our raincoats or something like that, that our employees that are there now, naturally your raincoat's gonna last you some years, you know, so we don't have to do that, but it's roughly $970 a year per employee to outfit them with uniforms.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Yep.
I have a question. Yes. I can find it now. So on the front page, we talked briefly about the professional development line that you said was for the chief.
Yep.
And it made me kind of wonder and start looking, is there training or professional development for the rest of the staff? And I don't know if they need specific training to maintain certification. So I did find on the second page, line 359, but all the way on the right, it says, specifically says paramedic class for interested employees. So is that line only for that class, for employees who are interested, or does that include other things? And if it doesn't, is there training budgeted somewhere that I'm not seeing?
Nope, that fire training is for, fire classes, to send people out. If a paramedic class now is $14,000. We have, one person in class now, and actually the person that ended up getting deployed is still kinda in the middle of their class, unfortunately, but, yes, that is for the employees. They could go and take classes, they could go to a seminar or something like, any of that.
Okay, do they need specific training to maintain certification?
I highly encourage that they continue their education as the fire service evolves and different things get, different ways you attack a fire, or on the medical side. For instance, we had 3 people just go from basics to advanced EMTs, and that was, that's something that would be like in that general line item, to have them advance their medical as well as fire stuff.
Okay, so it's not required, but encouraged, and it would come out of that line.
It's not required, but it is highly encouraged that you keep up with your profession, yes,
Okay, and it would come out of that line.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Chief, you also have line 357 to manage monthly education. Where are you?
357.
357?
Oh, yep, education contract, so that went up $200, that's our EMS educator. We have a private company that comes in, and, because we all have to keep up with our, national registry certification for EMT basic, advanced, and paramedic level, and this gentleman provides that education for us to satisfy the National Registry.
Really good. Thank you, Chief.
Oh, one more. Chief Azina had a holiday pay policy, which saved the town money compared to the one we have now. At least that's what I've been told. Would you care to comment on that?
Is that in a line, or?
The chief paid on holidays, when a holiday occurred, the chief gave everybody 10 hours, as opposed to 8, and that solved that overtime problem. That's my understanding. You're not continuing that, you're paying everybody straight overtime, which costs more, and I'm wondering why.
I would have to look into that and then get back to you on that. I don't wanna comment on that right now. I don't have that right in front of me. I'd have to
Thank
look
you.
at that. We good?
Looks that way.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I ask a question to the board?
Yes.
Can I ask a question to the board? I calculated the last year's budget to the proposed budget is 6.93%, is that,
That's correct.
That's correct.
and then the default to the proposed is 4.62%?
That's what I got.
Okay. Just wanted
And
to,
the default to the, default to 23 is 2.2%. So if the town budget is voted down, the fire department gets a 2.2% increase at a time when inflation is 3.2%.
okay,
Versus 7%, 6.9.
Yep.
Against 3.2% if the proposed budget is approved.
okay.
Okay, Clay, will not be here tonight?
No, he has sent you guys the budget, he's not.
So, Beth, will you just include his in your presentation, is that how it's gonna work, or?
Yeah, Naomi will.
One's numbers, one's paper. Thanks.
Do they have copies? Come on, you're my assistant, let's go. Yeah. You here. So what you're gonna get in front of you is gonna be the entire town budget, all 14 pages, in Excel format.
Don't you wanna write on it? Thank you.
And that replaces the other one? Okay, good.
Same one for Monday, we haven't done anything changes. I also just need to let you know, this is the first time we're all put it all together. So on Wednesday night when the board meets, we're gonna, we've sent them home with homework, hopefully they come back with it done. And, we'll see what questions we may have. If you flip to the back, you'll see where we are, but don't turn it ahead, come on. Follow the rules, or else I'm leaving.
We said if you flip to the back. We're following
I
directions.
should have said when you get to the back. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about, the library budget, do they have this, Vanna?
Yes, it was emailed to them.
Okay, very good. She's my assistant. Good assistant at that. Back up. So I don't care what you wanna do, if you wanna take the library one first. Yeah, okay. So the library one got emailed to you, it has the front breakdown and then the back. So the breakdown, what you see the back broken down to is basically Beth does all the payroll part of it. And then we take and divide up what's left out of the payroll, and they get it in 12 monthly installments, the balance. And then this is how they spent the rest of their money.
This, just, so people
sorry.
know, Clay only emailed it, I think, to 3 people, and I didn't open the
Oh,
email
I'm
until
sorry.
about 15
Do we need to
minutes
make copies then?
I didn't have time to pass it on to people.
Page
Alright.
13.
So Beth's gonna make copies of what we were given, cause there's a detailed front sheet and then the back. So let's skip over library now that I told you total. Let's start on page 1. I'm just gonna, I can hit some highlights. The town officers' salaries, there's no increase. That stays the same. Town officers' salary, really the biggest thing, that we have is the $2,000 we'd like to add for computers, monitors, battery backups. We don't have any place that we can buy those, and they do die. You know, we have to buy cables, or we gotta buy some other things. You know, we've had to buy monitors and things to go with it. You know, we're scrambling at best, and there's no place to put it. So we've asked to keep that line separately so we can track that a little bit better. Then the other $800 is office supplies, 'cause just as anything else in the world, paper, we don't buy pens. We get our pens from our conferences. I bring back bags of them, so. And TD Bank's been generous enough too. So it's basically, you know, the little bit of ink that we might have to buy, but paper's gone through the roof, and we supply the entire town with paper for all the departments. So that's $2,800, and then, you can see I swapped 50 at the bottom two lines, but that's an equal wash. Unless you ask, I'm moving. 'Cause we have 2 nights in a row, guys, so. So elections are geared on how many elections there are in each year, so this coming year in 2024, there's 4 elections, therefore the expenses relate to the 4 elections. So you're looking at food, you're looking at, computer support, and you're looking at postage, 'cause a lot of people are still doing, postage is increased, and we do absentee ballots. And with 4 elections, you're gonna have that extra added.
Is that something that would, Tom, question?
I gave him the nod, sorry, I was just
Yeah,
like.
I gotta go through Tom. Question?
Sure.
Is that something that would drop in the operating
Yeah,
budget?
as you can see,
next year?
so if you look, just go back in like 21, 22, 23, those are all based on actual number of elections that we have in those years.
Yep.
And we do have a lot of, people that work at the polls, some get paid, some volunteer their time. I can't just ask everybody to volunteer, but we have to
But
at
it'll
least.
fluctuate based upon, 'cause
Sure.
there's only 2 the year
Yep.
after that. And- okay.
Exactly, yeah, so it fluctuates by that, 'cause we have to staff the elections. Moving on to the tax collector, you're gonna see a continued theme, those of you that were Monday night. We did some restructuring here in the town office, town hall's up on the hill. The town office, the tax collector, we've split with, at this time, I have a 20-hour secretary, and she does 20 hours for tax collecting, so we split that up a little bit. So if you go down through and she's a health insurance buyout for that, and you're gonna see the reduction when you get over to the, selectman's office, you're gonna see the reduction in healthcare there that represents, 'cause she's a buyout, she doesn't carry up insurance.
Question, Tom? Naomi, have the selectmen or you thought about reconsidering the buyout, the health buyout?
No, we have not talked about it.
If you did that, what do you think would happen?
I didn't understand your question.
We have a provision now such that if you don't take health insurance from the town, but your position carries it, you can, let's say you're married and your spouse has health insurance, so you don't need the town's health insurance. Town will pay you, what is it, $8,000?
$5,500
$5,500.
quarterly.
That's the buyout.
We do each quarter, no,
Okay.
total of that, but it's
Right.
quarterly, yeah.
I knew that, I just didn't understand your question.
The question is, what would the consequence be if the selectmen changed that policy so there was no healthcare buyout? You have an opportunity.
They probably would jump on the healthcare. Why wouldn't you?
If
then
the
what one
spouse has
didn't-
it.
But what one didn't pick up, the other one could, right?
So you don't think there'd be any saving?
I don't. Just for the mere fact that in our policy, you're allowed health insurance based on your need. So if you're a family or a 2-person or a 1-person, we offer you that. In lieu of not taking it, we ask you to take a buyout. But you have to prove to us that you have coverage, because I cannot just let you take it because you want the extra $5,500. You have to prove that you have health care. And with that being the case, I mean, we don't have to ask if their spouse has it or not. It's a benefit that we offer. I think it's a huge savings for us to do that.
As
Personally.
previous insurance broker, if you do a buyout, you are saving the town money, because if you don't do a buyout, you can have your primary care person, which could be your spouse's insurance. Then you have your secondary care, would be the town's insurance. And then there is your portion of what's ever left. So there is a fair chunk of exposure for the town if they take that secondary insurance. That's the object of the buyout, is to prevent that.
I guess I know it's off subject, can I ask you what your thought is on that? I mean, why do you ask that?
I ask that because I don't know how much we're spending, but
Yep.
if 10 employees do it, that's $50,000. I'd like to reduce the cost of the budget, and so the question is, what value is there to the town? Or what financial benefit or cost would there be to the town if we got away with this? One of the things that I thought you might have said in response was, I think we'd lose 5 employees or something like that.
I don't know that we would lose them, because take those 10 people and now give them health insurance, you're not
But they might not
$50,000,
take-
you're $300,000 or more.
But you're assuming that they would take it. If the spouse's coverage is better than what the town offers, they might not take it.
I don't think anybody's gonna walk away for $5,500, but that's my personal.
No,
You take both of them, cause you can have both.
You can have both insurances.
Absolutely, you can have both, so I can be on my husband's plan, and if I'm working for the town, I can have the town's plan. So when I go in to have a knee replacement, the hospital's gonna hit whichever
They'll take the
plan is
first one and
primary
they'll take the
first, and
second
then
one.
The second
Yeah.
plan will be secondary, so it's a benefit
Right.
for them,
Before they take the
for the
public
employee, it'd be foolish
Before-
not to.
But it seems like what you're saying is it would probably cost us more not to offer it.
Yeah, I think it would cost you a lot more. If you take the 10 plans at $55,000 and you take those 10 employees, they could be 10 family plans. Let's admit that, you know, that happens quite a bit,
Plus, we're in a pool, so the claims run
Yeah.
our rates.
yeah.
So if the
When you get
claims
down
are
to-
high, our rates go high.
Yeah.
If the claims are low in our pool, our rates stay low.
So taking those 10 people out of the risk pool helps us out too.
I appreciate the
Yeah,
explanation.
no problem.
Where are we?
Lori, did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you.
On page
So no, I was just doing the tax collect. I'm not gonna go through every line, cause a lot of them are restructuring, as you can see. And then we added some money so that she could attend the annual conference as well as recertification all the time. Or certification in education, cause you always wanna do that. Keep us up so you don't read about us. The cost of printing, the tax bill supplies, as I said, printing and any other supplies have gone up, so we're adding $300 to cover the cost of the printing and the envelopes that we sent them out with. Software, you're gonna see that's common theme. A lot of the software support programs have gone up between 3 and 4%, so you're gonna see that throughout all the others. And then, office equipment, what we did is, because she shares the office in 2 places, we dropped it down to $1, not to eliminate it, we dropped it down to the $1. I think so that, hang on, the wrong way, I'm
What
going
line
the
is it?
other way. It was $1, I'm sorry. So the office equipment line was 54,
Mhm.
and then it was approved for $1, we left it there, and we were asking to put back, cause there is a printer at both locations. Moving on. So there's a net increase, I'll just give you the bottom, of 7628, and you can go down through those line items, pluses and minuses. Assessing, there's a net increase bottom line of $342. Basically, again, software support and for, some training for, the administrative assistant to attend the annual conference. And then, so what's happening now, there's also mileage added into, because yes, we do have a town vehicle, but the town vehicle, we can't always let somebody take it when the inspector needs to go do his thing. So, not all the time is the vehicle there to be used, so a lot of the time the girls use their own vehicles. We'll go down to legal, we're gonna crystal ball it and guess that we're gonna, go $2,000 less.
Are
We
you
took,
going out for new attorneys?
that's on our list to, put out to bid, yep. We reduced it in the planning board side by $2,000.
Naomi, can you tell me, does this somewhere explain to me how much we have paid out in legal fees to date?
Yeah, if
for
you look at
everything?
line, take from the far left, go 21, 22, 23 are actual expenses.
Okay, thank you.
We're doing good. We're gonna move on to the finance administrator's office. She's got a total increase of $226. Basically, what we did was we reduced phone lines also as another common theme. You'll see our phone lines are less. We went to a different plan this year, upgraded a little bit. And then doing the cost of envelopes and checks, W-2s, 1099s, and all the compliance things that we have to do, we're increasing that. And then her software support was up 3% versus 4%. But we took it out of the phone line to help out, so it's $226. Town clerk is up at $163 total. Basically, again, her phone line went down. She's got a new deputy that needs to have certification, and then her software support is 3%. Down the selectman's office, this takes into the account, you have to look at the two between the tax collector and that, because this is where the restructuring occurred. Again, basically, you're also looking at, last year, entered a new agreement with the town, 3-year agreement. So we're going into year 2 of 3 of the contract that was in last year's budget, which was approved. So that's why when you see the comment on the right says year 2 or 3, that has to do with me. Meeting and seminars, we're gonna increase a little bit, as you heard from the chief. I believe sometimes that, you know, we could be a little stingy on the education, but I believe that education is worthwhile. We recently just did some right-to-know training, just so that we're not doing the wrong thing. But there's other things out there that some of the staff can go to, and you really can't send somebody to training for $500. So we're just looking at increasing that. Again, telephone was down.
Where's electricity?
In the building, we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
And you're gonna see that up and down with heating fuel as well. So, the other thing is the web hosting is the actual cost of the web hosting, that increases, so you'll see there's an increase of $1,000, but all but $11 is offset from the telephone line.
Question? These, line 139, the difference between the approved and the proposed is not 4418, so, it's more of a correction. But are we using formulas to do those, or?
I didn't do those.
I noticed a couple
Yep, okay.
don't match the subtraction, so.
Okay. We'll fix those.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Same with, 141. 2 lines down from 139, 141.
Professional development.
Professional development should stay 5 all the way across, cause that's contracted.
Well, the difference column
Oh,
should be 0.
gotcha. Yep. Okay. Cable, there is a decrease of $199. That's largely from the equipment that we kept the line in there, but we are gonna keep $1 in there just in case. But most of the equipment for the cable committee is done through the capital reserve fund. Trustees of the trust fund, there's no difference. We put in $150 for them to be able to attend the trustees training at the annual conference. Move on to land use. Legal notices has been a recent change, and as long as we can keep the public notice on the front page of the website, which I watch to make sure it stays on the front page, we don't have to go to the expensive newspaper. That as one place of advertising, and then you still have to do it in, we still put it in the post office, and we put it here in the lobby. And then we're looking at, with a lot of right-to-know requests, you all know, your email gets opened up to everybody as in that case. So what we're moving towards is getting everyone that's on a town committee to get a town email at the warenh.gov exchange, so that should a right-to-know request come, A, we have contact with the server, but B, doesn't open up your computer. We just did it with the ethics, we've done it with conservation, we're planning on doing it with the land use boards. Just makes more sense, and it keeps your personal life personal. So that budget went down $1,006. Now we get to the government building, which is where Neil was talking about. This is where your electricity is, your fuel is, and you're gonna see those go up and down. What our biggest, change here is the bottom line's increased by $29,903, and a great share of it has to do with the wages and maintenance. If you just take a peek around here, not a lot of maintenance has occurred. We did hire a handyman slash general maintenance person that has been working probably 30 or 32 hours a week right now. We're going to, and he's gotten a lot done in the last month or so. We send him over and he checks every building, like with the rain, yesterday, I wasn't here yesterday. Monday's rain, I had him go to the buildings, cause this basement flooded all the way to the food pantry. So he checks on all the buildings for heat and flooding and any other issue every morning. And then there's projects we've been working on just to neaten the place up. You know, we've had bathrooms fixed and just, honestly, we're gonna fix out there so we don't get water in the building. So that's the largest part, because it would take into consideration the Medicare, the FICA. And then our building maintenance, because of having him, we have increased that by $10,000. But there is some significant decreases in fuel and everything else. Electricity, we've gone up and down, but we've basically decreased our fuel based on our usage. We bring sweaters. Just kidding.
Naomi, what's the difference between line 183, wages for maintenance,
Sure.
and line 190, building maintenance?
So building maintenance is the actual supplies.
Supplies.
The
not
work is done in line 183. That's to pay him to do his job, and then the supplies are what I need
Got it.
him to get.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
another question about electricity.
Yep.
Do we use the default service, or do we go out and shop? Or
We
electric?
currently have a contract with a hydropower, what are they called? Standard Power? Standard Power. We have a
No.
contract with them.
You know what the rate
Off the
is?
top of my head, no, I'm not prepared for that answer, because I don't know what it is, but when you mentioned it, I should have brought it. We do have a contract right now with Standard
So
Power.
we're not paying the 22 cents that Eversource?
No.
Good.
No, we've
Thank
done
you.
that. Yep. And now with the Energy Committee moving along, we might look to doing some other green initiatives. There you go, there's your plug.
Well, we have a lot of mice in our home, and, you know, we can put them on treadmills.
Yeah, well, they cost the fire department a fortune, they ate through the hose, so.
There you go.
You can, also, you could trap them and you could eat them if you wanted, I guess, for food, right?
No,
Come
we
on,
have-
Neil.
We're a little bit better off than that, but.
Yeah,
thank you.
well, we have JP Pest come, so they grab the stuff and they leave, that's what we're, trying to find water, so. Sorry, our conversation's digressing.
More falls and dry.
11.2.
There you go,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yep, yeah, we keep track with that, we've done that, I think we've contracted twice now with them.
And you know the rate's going down, so, for Eversource in February.
Yes,
So you might want to, normally you can get out of
Yep.
those contracts
yeah.
at no cost. And
We'll see if they're
get
gonna go,
something-
they're gonna go less than 11 cents, so we'll consider it, but if they're not gonna go less than 11, I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. Cause we already contracted somewhere else.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
anybody else? Alright, gonna move along. Cemeteries, those are all contracts, they're all passed in the first budget, so there it is. I mean, there's not much I can change from there. Insurances, these are actual costs, our, liability, general liability and property has gone up, workers' comp has gone up, along with unemployment. Again, that's based on actuals.
Question on that?
Again, we're in a pool, but we have to pay our fair share based on our,
So, if we
uses.
have a bad experience, our rates go up, but Henniker's doesn't. Is that correct?
it's based on us, yeah. We're part of a risk pool together, which I don't wanna care to bid what it would be. But we do pay for our fair share, which is only fair. We pay for the community, we pay for our workers.
Is there another kind of insurance that we could get, or another carrier that would be less money, or this is?
I've
about
never
as cheap as
ventured
it gets?
outside of Primex. Primex is the carrier for a good percentage. I know there are some people, some towns and cities that self-insure, but that's your big cities. We're not big enough to self-insure. Just like our health insurance, we stay in a pool to try to keep things down. But I can't help the fact that, you know, if we've got things that happen, it's called, you know, we have insurance liability for a reason. We had one.
Did the whole pool, I mean, everybody is paying more, or is it just Ware?
I don't call around and ask, I worry about where. I mean, I don't know, Neil, I'm not being flip, I just don't, we take care of us. Those are actuals that we have incurred. Advertising, you know, when we've been trying to find different ways to advertise for help, as you heard Jason say. You know, we're not getting help, but we're trying to boost by adding a little bit of money, maybe try some other resources. So, we've increased that, and then the dues to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, that increased $57, but that was a less than 1% increase. So that increased $160 total. I am not going through the police department, you've already done. You listened to emergency management and fire department once. I'm gonna flip you to 8 of 14, called code enforcement. Code enforcement has got a $238 increase bottom line. You see the increases and decreases based on some books and some updates, and then we have reduced, the selectmen set the fuel less, so you've seen that as a theme throughout, is we've set the fuel and the gas and the diesel at a little bit different than we did last year, so there's a decrease there. And then it's pretty simple, basically one offsets pretty much the other. Cause you get a $538 increase, and then you get a $50 decrease for postage and $250, so that leaves you $238. Forest fires, there's no increase. Highway department, I'm not gonna do that one, cause you've already heard from Jason. You heard from Jason on street lighting, transfer station, sewer, water. You heard from Chief Moore, on animal control. So we'll get to health and welfare, which is on 12 of 14. Health, we have increased that, that now she's pretty active with health. We do get that, so it's a separate phone line that we've put in there, so now she has her own phone line. It's not shared with anyone else. So that was a new line, and then there's 2 semi-annual seminars she goes to, and then we haven't held a health fair in a long time, so we were gonna cut that in half. Not to say that we would never have one, but we have partnered in the past with the school, and I'm not gonna say that's never gonna happen, so I'd like to leave $25 in that line in case that does happen. Therefore, your health is increased by $594. Miriam, I'm going too fast?
No.
Okay, good girl. Welfare, you see an increase of about $4,990. A good share of that is the assistance. We've been fortunate enough. We have a very good welfare person that scrutinizes and reaches out and uses resources that are allowed to us. But what you have to understand is that we do our best. We've done an extremely good job, but it can flip the other way. Just because there's $15,000 in the budget, I do know a community that's already spent $250,000 that you have to take care of your Ware residents, unfortunately. I don't mean that way, not unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're responsible regardless. You know, there's a lot of people out there that need some help. So we were asking to increase by 5 in hopes that, you know, we can still do the better job and return it, but I don't know that. You don't know what we're gonna do economy-wise, we don't know any of that. You know, we pay for fuel, we pay for electricity, we pay for rent. We offer them the food pantry downstairs, she does a good job. There's some things we don't cover, but at the same time, it is what it is.
Question?
Sure.
If you look at the expenses, 1,000, 1,000, and 7,000, did something happen in 2023?
I think that's when weren't they paying you through COVID to stay? So I think some of that stopped. I think you were getting a check, weren't you? I mean, there were people that were getting paid through the pandemic. And I think that source got shut off.
So you think,
That's only a thought, and then that, I wanna be clear, that's my personal thought, that's not the town's thought, that's just my thought.
Who was getting paid?
So there was people that were paid during the pandemic
Correct,
by the government to stay home.
Correct.
Town
then that's,
employees?
no, this is the
Town
town of
residents.
Ware, 10,000 people
whole
that
United
live here.
States.
The whole United States was getting paid.
Yep,
I don't know if that's the answer, but that's when things
Speculating.
stopped. I'm
Okay.
speculating, personally. But there's still people that need help.
okay, I'm just trying to figure out how
Yep.
that relates to this.
I'm just saying that's, again, that was my speculation
Yeah.
when things got stopped. Maybe I'm wrong. I can stand here and tell you I'm wrong.
Well,
It's fine too.
we spent more after COVID, 6819 in 2023.
Mhm.
Budgeted for 15,000, that's not making sense to me.
No, what I think she's saying is that sometime during 2023, the federal subsidies stopped.
Thank you, that's a better
And a
word.
number of people who were getting those subsidies didn't get their act together and get jobs
got it locally.
quickly. So there was an interim,
Okay,
and that's her speculation.
And
as to why.
it takes a while sometimes. I call it a snowball effect. It just takes time sometimes.
Mhm.
You know, when things cut off, you may have saved, which is great, but then at the same time, that runs out, you know. The other thing you have to understand too, is if somebody becomes homeless, and they're here, I can be responsible to them for 30 days. So if we don't have Section 8 housing, which we have no place to put people, I could have to pay for 30 days of a hotel or motel for them to stay because they're our responsibility. That's a new rule,
Question on that, Tom?
and I believe that's a state rule,
Um,
came from the state.
let's assume, God forbid, that one of those situations arises and it costs
Mm-hmm.
$50,000. Where does that money come from?
Would have to come from the bottom line. We'd have to do something different, because we have to pay for people.
No, but you cannot dip into the surplus to pay for that on an emergency?
I don't think so. I think if we had an emergency, I don't know, you could probably petition DRA, Neil, but I don't know that answer. I just hope we don't have to. Okay?
You know, a quick question,
Sure.
is there a contract in the works with police?
A contract what?
I haven't heard anything about police contractors.
Because tomorrow night we're supposed to finalize that, that's why you haven't heard about it. Yep, that'll be a special warrant article that we'll bring to you anyway.
Right.
Yes.
One of the police officers, I guess, who was in the union, asked me about the possibility of his coming in and explaining the contract. We did allow that, the last time.
That's entirely up to you guys, but maybe when we get to a tentative agreement, that's the time to do it. Because I'm gonna ask you to look at your calendars for January after this anyway tonight. Yep. Parks and Rec, on the home stretch, Parks and Rec is up a total of $153. What you'll see is they took $3,000 from the recreational activity and spread it around because they need to do some more park repairs for fencing, the steps, the gatehouse, there's some Bolton equipment. If you've watched their meetings, there has been a lot of vandalism that we've had to pick up. And then the other thing is, over at the gatehouse at Chase Park, we had put in, internet that's a dead spot. You've heard the chief talk about that, when he talked about his radio proposal probably last year. If you go, that is a very dead spot around the lake. So, that's the increase and the decreases. The library,
Wait, on that, on line 594, the recreation activity, what will not be done if we take $3,000 out of that account?
I don't have a list, but I can happily get you a list, Neil. I don't know what will not be done.
Okay.
I don't know, I can't stand here and tell you what will not be done. Looking at the expenses, nothing was done this year, so I don't know.
Well, I assumed that recreation activity was like paying for a nurse or a lifeguard or something like that.
No, that's part of their wages. We have a lifeguard that we pay through the wages.
Okay.
But if you look at 594, expenses for 23 has 0. So.
Right, okay.
So I don't know, I can gladly try to get you that answer.
it's-
Okay, all right. Wave off, that's perfect for me.
Question?
Yep.
Just another numbers question, for Parks and Rec,
Sure.
2023 approved budget and 2024 default, all those numbers are the same, right? But I don't see any difference between those two columns, so.
The wages are different?
Oh, the previous page.
Yep.
Yep, no, okay, you're right. I was trying to figure out why the default and the 2023 approved totals didn't match up, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
items on the previous page that
And keep in mind, if you're looking at the 2023 approved, and then you're looking at the default, they were part of the 5% pool that was townwide.
no, I get it.
Okay,
I just, I was
no, that's
not
fine.
looking at the previous page. Thanks.
all right, thanks, Tom. So when you look at,
Just a second, Dave.
oh,
Just one on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
On, the maintenance, the 3,000, like the parks that we have now, be it Inison, Bolton.
Yeah.
whatnot, is that line there, it reflects field maintenance, mowing, or whatever, or?
no, mowing is done separately in the contract with the municipal one.
Okay, that's the, okay.
Yeah.
That,
So you look at the municipal lawn care, that's where the mowing for all the fields
For
occurs,
fields,
that where the
okay.
gazebo occurs,
okay.
all the
I didn't know
town, the
Parks and Rec-
municipal, no, they don't do that.
Okay. But if you wanted to plant grass seed, or you wanted to make the fields that, the current fields that we
Yeah.
have look better,
That
it would
would
come
be
out
your
of that.
supplies, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the, I think we took one and passed one on as far as the, public library. So what you're looking at on your Excel spreadsheet is really what's on the back of this,
It's too simple.
but I'm gonna concentrate on the front for a breakdown, okay? Cause you can put them side by side and you get the same thing. So in the library, you see the increase as 88 and then 8801, it's a matter of rounding. So let's talk about $8,800, and what that is in the Excel spreadsheet, you're gonna see it goes to the operating budget, because again, payroll part of it is done with us, and the rest goes to them, which he has broken down as far as the operations. He's looking at increasing his downloadable books from 31 to 36. Electricity, he's got a bump up. Fuel, he's got a bump of 100. And then building maintenance, what he did is, he has actually divided it to do the actual building maintenance, and then there's some landscape and snow removal so that he could track them separately. So you do see a decrease of 3190, but there's an increase of 55. So it's kind of those two together with a little bit of additional. He's also looking to have, shelving and some stuff done. I don't have his pictures. He showed his pictures on Monday of what things look like. And then staff development again, if you've got, he had a long-term assistant retire this year. So getting someone else, maybe a little bit more training. You have a children's librarian, she does a great job. But if there's a little bit more training with that, so he's put $400 in there for staff development. And the increase, the increase is a total of 8,800, but payroll is, again, they were part of the pool for the raise.
Are there going to be any warrant articles for the library?
There will be, yes. We haven't finished all the warrant articles.
I'm sorry?
We have not finished all the warrant articles. First of all, as Tom had asked earlier, we have not finished collective bargaining. We are going to put one together. We also have to petition the window's open for petitions until Tuesday, January 9th. So we still will be putting things together that you guys will have a look at too. And you may want us back if in fact we do change numbers, but I accompany you every night, so you can ask.
Now, none of this includes revenues at this point, correct?
We did the revenues and the default before. I don't think it was, probably the meeting that you weren't here.
No.
Cause you joined after the first meeting, yeah, and then I think Beth has already done the default and the revenue, but we can share those.
Okay, thank you.
So that's what we look like in a nutshell right now. If you flip to the back page, and I'll finish on the back page if you want. So, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. $9,000 for billing services, that was asked Monday night. So that's the actual cost for the billing company to do the revenue. We have to put this in here in the event that there is no money that comes in from the billing, you still have to pay for them to do the billing. So it's in here, but you will also see the same number on the revenue side if you look at your revenue sheet. So it's a wash. And then the debt service that you see there, the debt service is exactly what your payments are. You got a few left. The road bond will be done in 29. So you've got the principal and interest to the road bond, and the, DPW garage will be done in 26, and there it's broken out principal interest there, so that is actually what you have for payments that you're responsible for 24. Looking at a 4.24%.
No. It's a 5.6%, isn't it, Naomi?
Over default is, I'm sorry, over default is 4.24, but the proposed is 5.6.
So from the taxpayer's point of view, it's 5.6%.
But some of your default has to be on top of your approved because you had warrant article for salaries. Right? That passed. That gets part of your
But
default.
that's already included in the,
Is it? No, so we have 23 approved,
The 23 approved, but the wages is only 9 months.
yes.
All the warrant articles that were related to any wages, was only budgeted for 9 months, because it was just March through December.
is that included in, so that's not included in the approved budget?
9 months is not full.
Right.
So
So
the
the-
extra 3 months is in the default?
Correct, thank you, Neil. So it's 4.24. And like I said, we haven't, the selectmen, we asked, after Beth did the presentation Monday night to the selectmen, we asked that they take their red pen, take it home over the vacation. And then we are meeting on the 27th due to Christmas being Monday. We're gonna meet Wednesday night, and hopefully we have come back with some suggestive changes if they wanna do that, but that's what we've asked for. So we will have to look at this again. I just wanted you to now have the overall budget as everybody has seen it, and that you can take it home, study it. If you got nothing to do over the holiday break, there you go, give you something to do.
We're here tomorrow night, but
I'll be here tomorrow night.
I don't.
Oh, sorry. If anybody has any questions, I can,
Inflation is 3.2%, you're at 4.2.
okay,
Could the selectmen knock that down to 3.2?
I can ask.
We'll see.
I can ask. I mean, fair question. Yes.
I hear what Neil's saying, but I think everybody, whether it's the schools, the town, everybody has to consider 3.2 is what Social Security got. Those people on Social Security, we're going into a recession, building is down. Those people are gonna have to worry about electricity, food, the whole 9 yards. So if we take out their 3.2 of whatever it is they earn, they've got nothing. And we have to do better. We can't keep asking those people to do with less when we are not asking our departments and our schools to do with less. And all I'm saying is we need to take a hard look at that because they are over a fifth of our town.
Sure. Oh, I get that. I'm almost one of them.
That'll be part of the discussion.
No, it is. It's very true. I don't think we've asked for any exorbitant amount. Some of the budgets are a couple $100. But it's certain things that we have to do and people want and expect the service. But I hear you. I totally hear you.
I would be wrong if I didn't say it.
Oh, that's right. That's absolutely. And we would be wrong not to ask or go ask what Neil asked. I get it. I just don't know where there's a whole lot that we trim from.
But good presentation, thank you.
Okay. That was my assistant. She did it.
Between the two of you, you give very thorough information. Can I get a copy of the revenues,
Yep.
please?
She didn't get the revenue. She wasn't on, Jess wasn't on the first meeting, as they came afterwards. Is there anyone else need a, were you here?
Take a copy of
Oh,
our
Liz wasn't here either. Why don't you just do it to everybody? We'll send it to you all again, so it's fresh in your email box.
Appreciate it.
Should be at the top, not the bottom.
Save that paper.
You have a copy of this library.
So just to let you know, it's not gonna happen this second, cause I have all the emails, she doesn't have them all. So I'll give them to her Friday.
Thank
Do we
you.
have the magic NAV number for this year?
1291315.
1, 2,
1,291,315.
See, I got them.
3,
I got a
1,
number
5.
mine.
1, 2, 9, 1, 3, 1, 5.
Yep, so you take
it.
that, take the article at whatever, or the budget
Yep.
at whatever, and divide it by that,
Yeah,
and you
that's
get
the
your,
magic number.
But you've gotta subtract revenue first.
Which we don't have completely.
So the budget is 8 million, if we're getting 4 million revenue,
Oh.
taxpayers are only hitting,
So you
getting
take,
hit.
take your new email, subtract that, and divide by that number, and you should be in a ballpark.
Thank you.
Now I take my shoes off.
Might send that explanation with the email, Naomi, so we know what to add and subtract.
Anything else underneath these budgets tonight? We'll be back tomorrow with schools. And after that, I'll get together with Naomi and pick some dates that we have available for follow-up meetings in January.
Not election nights,
Pardon?
not election
No.
nights.
The-
Not the 23rd of May or, January.
Over by then.
Yeah, we're done by then.
We'll try to avoid that night.
Thank
Also, you got Martin Luther King Day on the 15th,
So, but that's our hearing night, we're here.
that's public hearing.
Yeah, so just to give you some information, we are gonna have deliberative session on the 3rd of February. Then we're gonna work backwards from there. We're gonna have, I've already advertised for the public hearing for January 15th, 7 o'clock. And that's gonna be the entire, but so between January 15th, we probably should, you'll probably see a revised and things like that. But I need to ask you guys when you're gonna meet, because we need to do the January calendar, so, I don't know what you're thinking. I know those two important dates, so.
We want to continue on Wednesdays the best we can with the school.
Wednesday's best.
Yeah, the school hearings are Fridays, so
Okay.
deliberatives.
Yeah, so I just want you to know, and then after that, though, after deliberative, I think this school's behind us again this year, the following week. We're the 3rd on Saturday, and I think they're the next week. So once you get that all done, I would ask that you do your mailer and get it to me, 'cause I need it to get to the printer before President's Weekend. I don't remember that date off the top of my head, it's that Monday in February. What was it?
Oh.
President's, yeah.
13th, 14th.
Yeah, I just need to get it to them so that I can get it back in time, and I like to get it back in time so we can put it in the mail so that you get at least a week with the mailer. So I just wanna be able to do that for
We
everybody.
did last year, which in the beginning I didn't think was necessary, but as it turned out, I thought it was a very good move, and that is regardless of the breakdown, we give a minority opinion as well as
Sure.
the majority opinion. I started out saying, well, you know, if it's 5 to 6, then,
Yeah.
but then feedback until then, it just wasn't very transparent, healthy, gave both sides of the issues. And in some cases, where just one person even gave that big because of that person.
Yeah.
And it gives the total picture to the voter when they go to the polls.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're, and we're supplied and ready to make whatever copies that whoever's gonna do the mailer sends me, and I do the colors for you guys for your different meetings. So just
It
let me
worked
know.
out okay, because one of my concerns was using up so much space in the mailer, but I don't think that was a big deal, was it?
Oh, 'cause I can make the font size 8 if I need to.
But there are 1,000 people in this town over the age of 65. You make it 8, and they can't read it.
Neil, Merry Christmas, I was kidding.
Question for Naomi.
Sure. Well, sorry.
You need the blurbs by President's Day weekend, you said?
No, so you typically have your meetings and get-togethers before deliberative sessions. After deliberative session, I don't have the calendar memorized, but, so after we do ours, and the 2 are the next week, typically you guys have always pulled it together. So typically, we're the 3rd, and then the next week, I don't remember if it's Friday and Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Wednesday and Friday.
Okay, so it'd be the 7th and the 9th, so I'm asking you that between the 12th and the 16th, that you finish your mailer. You call them blurbs, I call them information or whatever. It's because I need to get to the printer the 16th, so that the 19th we're closed and so are they. I just don't wanna scrunch any more time out of there, so they have to do a rush job. So I'm just asking you guys to keep that in the back of your mind, to set up dates.
16th, okay.
Well, you need to get it to the printer, you said, by the 16th, so do you actually need it by the 15th?
Well, we can do it electronically, it's just, they're not there, and I just would like to have some sort of correspondence that she's got it and all set, and she doesn't need anything more, cause that puts me more days behind if I wait till Tuesday. And I'm not here on Tuesday, so it'd be Wednesday, so, not that I wouldn't do it on my day off,
Call it by the 15th.
Yep.
Yeah.
so you guys could meet that Wednesday after if you're sticking with Wednesdays, and I can put you on February's calendar if that's what you wanna do. That would be your third Wednesday, so it fits the schedule.
That'll be pretty well.
Which is the 14th.
I think you can do it.
Anything else? Got anybody?
Minutes?
Anything?
Do we have minutes?
Approve the minutes.
Oh, yes, okay. Minutes.
Miss minutes.
Were there any, suggested changes? to-
John emailed me, he's not here, he asked me to change, I said, the DPW had an increase in not weed, and I just wrote weed, so I'm changing it to not weed.
Yeah, wheeler, dealer, weed.
That's K-N-O-T.
And then,
Or just not weed.
Carrie just had a correction of what she said, and she sent me a correction, sent me an email about it, right before I was driving here, so, it was just to change, sorry.
Used to not be used as part of the default budget, not being used in zero-based budgeting.
On page 10, so I will update that.
I move that the minutes as corrected be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anything else I'm leaving out?
Minutes for which month? Which date?
What was the date of that, Maria?
67 or somewhere.
I don't have a printout
I thought it
of
was,
them, I
wasn't it the
apologize.
six,
Should be
60 something?
Somewhere.
12-6.
6.
12/6.
Minutes for
Okay.
12/6.
Good point, Tom.
12-6?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
what-
12, the month is 12,
Oh,
the day is 6.
we have so much fun.
Yep.
We could have more
Who
fun.
seconded that?
Lori.
Anything else?
So Tom, just, so January 3rd, you're gonna meet? That's a Wednesday.
Sure.
January 10th, you can't, cause Conservation's here.
Are you bringing?
And January 17th, the Ethics is gonna meet.
That's the first meeting of ethics, is the 17th?
I'm making it the first meeting, how's that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
So, there's 5 Wednesdays is what I'm after. And if you like Wednesdays, there's the 24th and the 31st. The 31st would bring you right before all the deliberative sessions.
So January 3rd,
I can't give you the 10th, 10th is Conservation.
no.
And I don't know about the 17th, I gotta reach out to Wendy and ask her, because you haven't set any more dates for ethics, correct? Right.
she,
So I'll reach out to the chair and see when they wanna meet, but you have a choice of 3, 17, 24, and 31 for January, cause I need to do the January calendar.
Can we do any other day on the week?
I'm just asking, those are Wednesdays.
Just run through those. I got
The
a 3rd
3rd?
and 17th.
24, 31.
Not the 17th.
17th, I believe, ethics has been meeting at least 1st and 3rd. I don't know if they're gonna do the 3rd, January 3rd, or not.
Wayward will sometimes meet on the same date if they have a small agenda.
If they have right, but I gotta double check that, so I just wanted to be able to, you're welcome to do 24 and 31 anyway. You can do 3, 24, and 31, and then I know you can have those.
Yeah, 31's gonna be kinda tough, because then you get the town deliberative is.
Well, my thought was 24, you could go over at 31, you could have a quick meeting to finalize it, you can
Yeah,
send it
maybe.
to me, Bill, I think you're the guy, aren't you?
Yeah, that's why, well, I don't have to be.
Oh, you
yes, you do, Bill.
I'm just saying, and keep it short, cause you know, after a certain
Yeah.
time, everybody's brain shuts off
Well,
anyway.
yeah, well, I was just saying that knowing this time of year, I don't know, that the ethics committee, whether they meet just 1st and 3rd, because that's what they said, but it might be nice this particular time of year, hey, can you give up your 3rd Wednesday,
Yeah.
so we can do our
Well,
business?
Yeah, I mean, I can ask
Yeah.
what ethics, yep.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Because
close
then
on
we're-
the 3rd.
So what do you want, do you want every Wednesday for January other than the conservation?
Yeah,
Yeah. that-
6 or 7?
yeah.
So, the conservation is which one?
The second one, which is 10.
10. So, no 10.
It's PM or 7 PM?
Yeah, that's all.
You're making a face,
Yeah.
6:30?
No, I'm just saying, Wednesdays are, my personal schedule shouldn't dictate this.
Well, you're important. so
Yeah,
that's all.
we're all important. Normally Wednesday's a good day though for me. I mean, better, but, you know.
I just like I said, I'm just trying to.
6:30 even is better than 6. But
6:30 is 6:30.
we have a meeting at 7, but when we get into this,
Yeah, well, this was an exception, these two 6 o'clocks, because there were
Yeah.
two in a row. And I think it's pretty good, it's only a
Yeah.
quarter of 8.
But 6:30 okay for everybody else?
Yeah, it's all right.
6:30 is a
So
compromise.
so I'm gonna put you on the calendar.
We're gonna meet tomorrow night. I'm gonna I'll check those dates in my schedule, but I don't want my schedule to
All right,
dictate
we
what
can,
time we start.
so let's do this. Everybody check your schedule for
Yeah.
3/17/24/31, and we'll finalize it tomorrow, cause today or tomorrow doesn't matter. I just need to get the calendar out. Okay?
Thursdays,
Thursdays, the 2nd and 4th, the 11th and the 25th belong to the planning board.
the 18th.
I can't do the 18th.
I ref.
Tuesdays, Fridays.
Every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
the 18th, not that I'm,
On Thursdays.
If we don't, yeah, did we say the 17th was an option?
so, but I also need to ask Wendy, I'm gonna send Wendy an email because they haven't decided yet, and we've received no mail. So, I mean, they said they were gonna start in 24, but,
I'm just thinking if there's a 3-week gap between meetings, that
That's too much.
would be a lot, so if we could meet at the middle of the month sometime, around the 17th, whatever day.
and I'll get an email out before I leave and then see if I can have it answered for you tomorrow too.
Beginning, middle, and end would be more
Yeah,
optimal, I think.
of course.
just for-
If we're meeting on the 3rd, why is it 3 weeks?
If we didn't.
On the
meet
24th?
No,
Well,
No.
the 17th was iffy, I think.
Oh, okay.
The 17th isn't iffy until I get
It's
an
iffy,
email out.
yeah.
Yep,
10th is out.
Yeah.
yeah, the 10th is already,
It's
that's
either
on
gonna
the
be a
2nd.
2 or a 3-week
Yeah.
delay.
When do you think we'd have a look at
Two's
what the
doable,
warrant, the proposed warrant would be? When did you say that?
So the deadline for petitions is the 9th. So
So-
those all go at the bottom anyway. We could, kind of put together, again, as I said, we gotta put together our warrant articles, and then they still have to pass muster with DRA as well as town council.
Yeah, I guess, it's, despite passing muster, at least to get a look at, because I think this year, I'm thinking.
There'll be a lot of
really-
warrant articles.
Well, no, I'm looking at what's the total, before we start talking about individual things.
right, you gotta see what the
What's the big
picture is.
overarching impact if everything's approved, sort of, to get a ballpark figure, because
Sure.
we may then say, like somebody on their personal budget,
Yeah.
saying, this is my personal proposed budget, and this is what I like to have. However, I can't buy everything this year, cause I won't have the funds for it.
We have to look at
So
the big picture,
I have to go,
Of course,
the whole picture.
yeah.
where do I take?
So just,
take cuts?
I
And-
did
and-
mention it Monday night, I think, I don't know if Jason mentioned it to you guys when he was here, the grant for Volkswagen, we got no.
Right.
So we're,
Yeah.
that 2 trucks for 56,000 is not gonna happen, we'll
Right.
probably, we have to regroup, so.
But there may be stuff like in Jason's case, I'm speaking, not for the committee, I'm just saying, okay, if you go with 1 truck, okay, that's gonna have, now we're gonna have to fund that. What's more important to you, the truck or the weed whacker along the side of the road? Not the weed whacker, but the other one.
The mower.
In pecking order, like I would be at home with my home budget, yeah, I'd like to have both, but this is the one I need more, so,
Exactly.
yes. And those are the things that I think including with the schools and everything else, because last year's tax impact was more than what people expected.
Yeah,
For
people
various
are stunned
reasons.
this year at what happened with their taxes, and they didn't figure it out what they voted for, what it actually cost
It
them.
wasn't just that, though, I mean, we've, in the past, always been able to put some money down, but DRA says we were below the 5%, so no, you have no money to put down, so that's where we were.
Yeah, there were, numerous reasons.
So there was a couple, multiple things.
Yeah.
Does the school money go to pay down, go to the 5%, or
You
that
have to
goes
ask
directly
him,
to the
he's
bottom
got the
line?
school money understood, I mean, he knows more about the school money
Whatever
than I
they
do.
don't use has to go back.
Go back to whom?
Either to
Taxpayer.
the state, and then it comes back to us.
Yeah.
Right.
To offset taxes. And last year, Ware Schools gave back, I didn't bring that one with me, because I'll bring it, I don't think I brought that one with me.
It's
Oh, it was 600 some thousand came back to offset taxes from the Ware Schools. Okay, Ware School District. Various reasons for that. They had a number of,
But my point is that if Stark returns 600,000 to Ware, and the Ware schools return 700,000 to Ware, that's $1.3 million.
right,
That, in effect, is additional revenue and reduces the amount that we have to raise by taxes.
which we have done in our preamble each year. We kind of said, this is kind of what, yeah, this is the raw data of how much your taxes are gonna go up if everything passes or not.
Right.
However, historically, we have had this amount of money returned, blah, 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 blah. So if we get what we have in the past, no guarantees, this is what you can expect for a tax impact on what we recommend, and if you pass everything, and if you pass nothing.
Understood, but just so we all understand, that money is not going to go to the selectmen for them to
No.
choose to use it one way or another.
No.
It goes directly to the bottom line and reduces
Correct.
the amount of money that has to be raised
Correct.
by
But
taxes.
that's all figured in when you get the information from the state, correct? Because you have to wait for the schools.
They were on a different they were on a different calendar year than
Calendar,
that, too. See, their year doesn't end until, their didn't end until June 30th of this year. So you won't realize that until.
600-some thousand.
Last year's return.
And Stark gave back about 400-some thousand, split between Ware and Henniker, but it's 70 to 72%, right in that area of what comes, of that portion comes back to Ware.
Only 400?
From Stark?
Yeah.
I believe that's the number I saw, yeah. So it was about, we can verify that tomorrow. Because I never did get that number from Chris Roy of what,
And I asked Beth what she expected for the town, and she gave me a number that was close to 700,000. And I asked, how come the town budgeted X and we're not spending 700,000 of that? And she said that was largely due to the fact that we had so few people working in the highway department. We budgeted all of their salaries, but the positions weren't filled.
Correct.
And so that money, in effect, remains unspent, and at the end of the year, the selectmen have the option as to what to do with that money. They could spend it, they could put it to taxes, or they could put it to surplus. Now, presumably, they're going to take some of it and build up the surplus to meet the minimum 5%. I assume DRA will
they have to.
sort of insist on that. But the balance, they have choices, and that's one of the things perhaps we need to talk to the selectmen about.
So that's what we're doing on Wednesday,
Yeah.
27th. We're talking about year-end purchases for the 2023 budget.
You all set?
I'm good.
Move to adjourn.
Second, first, whatever. Leave.
Anybody wanna hang around?
We've had enough fun
Back
for
here
the
before we
night.
know it.
Thank you, Naomi.
Pleased with the time, actually.
Jessica?
Hit the switch.
And then you might